Well, hello and welcome back to Cooking in the Old Log Cabin. Boy, are we glad to see you. It's been a long, lonely week. I'm sure a lot of people are experiencing that, and one of the ways we cope in these difficult times is to do some cooking. We find it brings us comfort, and it ends up with something really quite tasty to eat, so it's well worth it. Today, we're going to be doing another Italian thing, but in keeping with the times, we thought, oh, comfort food, that's what we need. And so today we're going to do pizza. The kind of pizza you would get in a pizzeria. So I know we all remember the days, or some of us do, of Chef Boyardee, and that's fine. And I also would hasten to add that if you are living in a place where you can get takeaway, please think about the folks now in the restaurants that really are needing that business. We wouldn't want to take away from them. But if you are confined to space and you want something really tasty that reminds you of good times, there's nothing like hot, delicious pizza coming right out of the oven. We'll get started now. You can see the sort of quantities we use, and it's very easy. If you don't have a bread machine, you could mix this up, give it one rising, punch it down, let it rise again, then you'll be ready to go. Okay, first we start with the water. Now I'm going to do a double batch of pizza crust so we can have 2 pizzas. And we need to start off with 10 to 11 ounces of water. That goes in first. The other kind of neat thing about this bread machine is you can actually put it on a timer. So if you knew you wanted your pizza crust at a certain time, you could set the timer on the bread machine, and then you would be sure to have everything ready when you need it. So first we add the water. Then we add 3/4 teaspoons of salt. That's 1/2, then 1/4. Then we're going to add some olive oil. So we need 3 tablespoons of olive oil. 1, 2, 3. And after that, we need our 4 cups of flour. 4. Okay. Now there's a little bit of olive oil left in that tablespoon, so I'll get every last little bit. Now, the last thing we need, 2 teaspoons of yeast. 1, 2. Now we're ready to press go, but we have to make sure we have this on the correct setting. And for dough, we need number 8. So I'm going to set it on cycle 8. It's at 1 hour and 30 minutes, and we press go. Well, that was really easy. So while the dough is mixing, we're going to actually make a salad, because we love to have salad with our pizza. And then after that, we'll get our pizza sauce ready and all our toppings to go on top of the pizza. It's been quite a week. Alan's been out for the last few days of ice fishing here, and he did get a couple of beautiful trout, so we're really happy about that. The other exciting thing that happened is that our wonderful neighbor, Bill Duncan, came over with his drone and got a little footage of our old log cabin from the air. So we'll show you a bit of that as we get our recipes going here. We only have 11 people per square mile in far northern Maine, so it wasn't hard for Bill to keep his distance. It'll be so wonderful when we can visit each other again. Well, we're almost ready cutting up all these vegetables for the pizza toppings. We've got quite a collection here of things. We have red pepper, green pepper, orange pepper, yellow pepper, onion, and now I'm just doing some artichoke hearts. When these come out of the jar, they're kind of big to go straight on a pizza. So I'm just going to save a little time here and just snip them up with my kitchen scissors. It makes it a little quicker. And then we have some pepperoni. So now the exciting part, we get to make the sauce. And we like to use crushed tomatoes. Now this particular one has basil already in it, but we really like basil in our pizza sauce, so we always add some more. Now this recipe I'm doubling because we're making the 2 large pizzas. 1 cup. And here's my 1/2 cup. There we go. We also want 2 cloves of garlic. Everybody has different ideas about sauce for pizza. Some people like theirs very slightly sweet. Some people even put sugar in their pizza crust. We don't happen to do that. We kind of like our pizza quite savory. Some wine. And now for our spices. For this recipe, I normally do 1/2 teaspoon each of these 3 spices: oregano, thyme, and basil. But again, because I'm doubling the recipe, I'll put 1 teaspoon of each. We're also going to put a little pepper as well. I haven't added salt because there's a lot of salt in the pepperoni, there's salt in the cheese, so I don't tend to put much salt in my sauce. There's a lot of salt too in the black olives. Now I just whip it up with this, blend everything nicely. So now we're going to grease the pizza pans, and we try to grease them quite liberally because if you don't, your pizza crust is going to stick. And you know, I have tried my hardest to use olive oil for this job because I always believe use olive oil. But when I have done that, the dough tends to stick, so that didn't work for me. And it's really good to get this on your hands because we're going to be playing with the pizza dough now. And it will really help to have our hands all greased up. So we lift this little handle, twist and pull it out. And now we're going to empty it onto the pizza plate. If I reach up in here, I can manage to get most of it out. And it's so fluffy and puffy. I just love it when it comes out. It's lovely and warm too, so it's nice on your hands. Okay, so now we can get going with the dough. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just cut this in half. I'm going to just guesstimate here. I think they're about the same. So Alan gets one, and I get one. Well, now we get to throw these pizzas together after all this anticipation. It's really exciting. And so we're just going to get the dough and move it out to the edges. And I must say, this is something we love to do with nieces and nephews. We've had them over, and kids love to get their hands in dough. And okay, if they're too small to cut up the vegetables, that we understand that, but it's really fun for them to at least put the toppings on. It gives them a nice fun job to do, and they can get quite creative. How's it going, Alan?
Not as well as yours.
Well,
I had less dough, so I did.
it helps if you start in the middle and then work it out to the edges. Do you need any help there?
Oh, I don't know. It may be too late for that.
Let me see if I can help you. Just a minute now. The idea is to try and even out the dough.
I'm trying.
So it's about the same
Doing a little
thickness.
better, I guess.
And then if you just kind of gently give a little push around the edges, you can make a little lip in it. I forgot that you didn't work at Eastern Avenue Drive-In.
I didn't. Working on the farm, and we didn't make it. We used Chef Boyardee. Came out of boxes and little cans.
Well, I know. A lot of families did that years ago. Well, now the trick's going to be, can we make sure you get half and I get half? We've got to try to even this up. Oh, it's so much fun when we get to this point because you can really see the light at the end of the tunnel. And thank you.
That's for this.
And we have actually been preheating the oven, of course. It needs to be 400. And the good news is the pizza will be all done in 20 minutes. Now we're smoothing out the sauce to the edges before we add our toppings. We put about 1 cup of cheese on the top of each one. So we're going to each have some cheese now. We'll have to try and share it out so that everybody gets the same amount of cheese, hopefully. So here we go. Now we're having the onion. I'll leave a little bit for Alan because he said he really wants some on his. And we go for the green pepper. I love this one because it turns out to be the Italian colors. Red, white, and green.
Should I get more cheese? Maybe,
Yeah, I think you need a little more cheese. I confess, I cheated. I stole too much of Alan's cheese.
I have to keep an eye on you.
Well, I get excited. All right, now I'm going to do some pepperoni. Actually, that cheese should have been a little closer to the edge. Okay, here we go. And I like to save the black olives till the end. Kind of dot them in between the pieces of pepperoni. And they look so pretty that way. Oh, wow, the smells. I wish I could put them on the video, but I just can't. But it's a really wonderful, wonderful sensation of all these wonderful, wonderful aromas, all blending, even though it hasn't cooked yet. Oh my, it smells so good. All the ingredients smell so wonderful. Hooray, hooray, the pizza's done. Now we get to eat.